What up, though? Okay, the Leprechaun, back at it. Let's get into it. This one gonna be about Larry Hoover, the founder of the Gangster Disciples. Larry Hoover tries again for sentencing break, says he wants nothing to do with the Gangster Disciples. The man, labeled one of the most notorious criminals in Illinois' history, has renewed his bid to undo the life sentence he's serving in the federal supermax prison in Colorado. He claims to have renounced the violent street gang he once led. U.S. District Judge Harry Leinweber last year declined a request from the Gangster Disciples founder Larry Hoover for a lower sentence under the First Step Act, a law signed by President Donald Trump in 2018. But in doing so, the judge gave Hoover room to try again. Now, Hoover has taken advantage of that opportunity. In a pair of letters to the judge and the public filed late Wednesday in Chicago's federal court, Hoover wrote in a rare public comment that he is no longer the Larry Hoover people sometimes talk about, or he who is written about in the papers, or the crime figure described by the government. If Hoover, 71, is successful in undoing his federal life sentence, he would still have a state murder sentence to serve, and he'd likely do so in the federal prison system. But prosecutors have expressed concern that Hoover would next launch legal attacks on that case. Former prosecutor Ron Safer has said Hoover ran a gang from prison. It was responsible for the highest murder rate this city has ever seen. A drug network that was pervasive and efficient, and an organization that controlled parks and street corners in neighborhoods and made it impossible for children to go outside and be children. In his letters, Hoover wrote that the Fed's Supermax prison has been called as close to hell as possible, and he agreed. He acknowledged being aware, anecdotally, that some misguided people hold him up as a symbol, and he wrote, "I wish this were not so. Regardless, these people are apart from me and do what they do with zero encouragement or direction from me," Hoover wrote. "To be clear, if I had any ability to influence them, I'd ask that they'd forget me and forsake the gang life forever." And, you know, he may be telling the truth, he may not. He might be able to slide some kites to the outside. He still might have some people doing some stuff for him, but probably not. He's 71. He's an old cat. You know, the Gangster Disciples are, you know, tens or hundreds of thousands deep across the whole United States, and they doing whatever they want. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that if Larry Hoover came home, they wouldn't. Bend the knee to Larry Hoover. But I know there's probably a lot of young cats that, they don't care about no Larry Hoover who, you know what I'm saying? Hoover wrote that he took responsibility for his past, adding that he was lost in an enduring pattern of criminality those many years ago. But, he wrote, "I have long since renounced my association with any and all criminal organizations and their membership. I am no longer a member, leader, or even an elder statesman of the Gangster Disciples," Hoover wrote. "I want nothing to do with it now and forever." Hoover's claims run contrary to recent allegations by federal prosecutors. Earlier last year, an indictment in East St. Louis alleged that Hoover promoted two men to top post in the Gangster Disciples while he was locked up in the Supermax prison. The indictment charged others with crimes, but not Hoover. So they saying he do still got some pull over there, East St. Louis. So that's why a whole different city, whole different state. Maybe they lying, maybe they not. If I was in prison, I'm a big criminal gang, mob, whatever leader, I'm denouncing all that shit to get out. But once I'm out, though, people got the power, people got the respect, people gonna, sway to your word, and some people can't help that. That's just who they are. Chicago's top federal prosecutor, U.S. Attorney John Losh, also made an unusual direct plea to Lena Weber in July 2020, telling him it would be a miscarriage of justice to reduce Hoover's sentence in any way, shape, or form. It simply makes no sense now to give him a chance to run the Gangster Disciples. He's 71 years old, bro. Ain't no one gonna be able to run a whole gang organization at 71. You know how much of a headache that shit would be, how much bull he gotta go through. But attorneys Jennifer Bonjean and Justin Moore wrote in a new motion that the Larry Hoover who graces the cover of the government's opposition papers died long ago, notwithstanding the government's unfounded claim that he harbors a desire to reclaim his title as king of the Gangster Disciples, an enterprise that bears little resemblance to the organization he built in the 1970s. Bonjean, who on Tuesday filed an appearance on Hoover's behalf, is the attorney who helped free actor Bill Cosby and now represents R&B singer and convicted sexual predator R. Kelly. Hoover ordered a murder in 1973 that led to his conviction in state court and a sentence of 150 to 200 years in Illinois prison system. There, the feds say he ran $100 million a year drug business as tens of thousands of gang soldiers continue to work for him in Chicago and other cities. A federal investigation then led to Hoover's conviction for running a criminal enterprise. Lena Weber gave Hoover a life sentence in 1998 at the end of a hearing that promoted a finger-pointing confrontation between the two men. Lena Weber told Hoover the charisma he used to gain the loyalty of thousands was proof he could have been a great man. You misused a great gift that you received from God, Lena Weber told Hoover that day. It's bold words right there, but that's true, and that's what they say about a lot of these people that run what they call criminal organizations, whether it's gangs or the mafia or whatever they're doing. A lot of them have that mentality and that persona where they can run a Fortune 500 company, be a CEO of the next big, company that's out there. But they just go the other way with it. Sometimes when you in certain positions and cities and grow up a certain way, you don't have access to all the resources and abilities that other people have. You don't have the certain people in that corner. You don't have certain people in certain positions that can put you in certain positions to help you out. So they become kings or rulers or generals or leaders of the streets, and what the streets do. Larry Hoover, Gangster Disciples. Drop the like, drop comments, all that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts and opinion. Should Larry Hoover be free, compassionate release, or do he need to stay inside where he at? Me personally, all these gangsters asking for compassionate release when they 70, 80, but I just give it to them. Give it to them. If people are worried about them, monitor them. Put on probation, parole, anchor model, or you know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about no 70, 80-year-old dude. And I don't think a whole lot of people are. But at the same time, you have to take into consideration victims of the families of people they may have, done whatever to. Sell drugs to, murder, beat up, whatever the case may be. Gangster Disciples. We know over here in Detroit, we got Gangster Disciples. Gangster Disciples actually used to be one of the biggest gangs in Detroit. Still is one of the biggest gangs in Detroit, but the Gangster Disciples probably used to be the biggest gang in Detroit and on the Yard and MDOC. Not so much. Definitely big and organized right now, but not like it used to be. Gang, a lot of them gangsters say, you know, free Larry, free Hoover, you know, all that stuff. But I hope you liked it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you on the next one. Much love, peace, blessings, much gratitude.